everybody. I am he, as you are he, as you are me, as we are all together. I am the Walrus. Welcome to my very first video on the Walrus Gaming YouTube channel. In this little mini-series, I'm going to be disassembling various video game components like controllers, consoles, accessories. You may wonder, why would you want to do this? Well, if you want to paint one of your controllers like I did, or a button's broken, or something's wrong with the console, you could do this. So today I'm just going to take apart the NES controller, which I have in front of me, but it's a knockoff, and my Super Nintendo controller, which is right next to me. But first I'll just deal with the NES controller, if I can get some better lighting over here. I lost my light, but oh well. So what you're just going to need for the NES controller is a regular Phillips screwdriver. I have a very small one, and as you can see, there are 6 screws on the back, which are in these holes. Just zoom in. Not doing a very good job though. So let's just make it shiny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these screws out. Now, I would never paint my NES controller simply because it has that design on the front, and I like to keep that design even though this one's a knockoff. But still, also be very careful with these screws because they're kind of tiny, and I've lost one of my screws for one of my controllers before, and it wasn't that big of a deal, but still, if you lose too many, then you're not going to be able to screw it back on, so don't do that. I'm sorry if this looks kind of choppy with my trying to unscrew these things, so I guess you guys don't really care about unscrewing. And behind this little sticker here, there's a screw. I just have to show my screwdriver through that. Trying to remove the sticker. So there's not much to see in the NES controller because it's very simple. But here you go, the back is off. And now this is the motherboard, kind of. And you see it has these little pegs, which I really need better lighting to see, but I can't find my big light. So, right here is a peg. I guess it doesn't really matter too much, but you take the motherboard out. You have the motherboard. See this, what I'm touching with my thumb right here? These are the pads to which the D-pad goes, and you can take the buttons out. Like here's the A button, I think. Here's the start button. It's connected to the pad. Let me get a better view of it. It's connected to the pad, and the pad is what touches the motherboard to tell the game itself to in action. So like if I'm playing Super Mario Bros. And I hit the A button, then the pad is going to hit the motherboard, which the motherboard will tell the game to make Mario jump, and the game will make Mario jump. So it's not really that complex until you get into the joysticks and the later controllers, which actually I did a bit of research on for a paper in English once, and they're pretty interesting. So now I'm getting my Super Nintendo controller, which really it's a bit bigger. Yeah, this is the Super Nintendo controller. It's the same buttons on the NES, except it has X and Y. This only has 5 screws, so while I'm unscrewing those, I'm just going to, if I can, I don't want to strip the screws. Do not strip the screws. Like if you feel your screwdriver clicking and not smoothly unscrewing these like it should be, then you're probably stripping the screw. And I did that once with my GameCube controller, and it didn't turn out very well, but it still works. So just use the right size of screwdriver and you should be fine. Like, you're going to need a really small one though. So if I can, this bottom screw is giving me trouble though. I'm going to strip it. Like if you hear that clicking sound, then that's probably me stripping the screw. But I got halfway out. It looks like I did strip the screw a little bit, which if you see iron filings on your screwdriver, that means you stripped the screw. Just try not to do that too much or else you won't be able to unscrew it, period. But I have about 5 of these Super Nintendo controllers, so I just screw around with them. No pun intended. get this very last screw out of this freaking hole. Now, I did halfway paint one of my Super Nintendo controllers. I painted the back blue. Once I finish that, I might show you guys. I forgot to say that the Super Nintendo also has like the L and R buttons, which I'll show you in a minute, which are picky. So now that we have the back of this off, except this one screw, will not want to. There we go. So you can see the motherboard for this. And what you need to be careful of is these L and R buttons will fall off because, like that, they have these little pins. These silver pins are so easy to lose. They fall out. I have one in my hand right now, but they're so easy to lose, and they really suck it if you lose them, because then you can't use the L and R buttons. So make sure you take those out first if you are going to paint it. And then they have this cord is entangled in these pins, which is the way you want to make sure it goes back, or else it will just get screwed up. Trust me, I've done it with my 64 controllers. That can turn out too well. So right here, these little things, right here in the corner, those are the L and R pads. They work the same way as the other pads, except these are easy to lose too. Then you have the A, B, X, and Y buttons right here where I'm lifting up the pad. The start and select buttons on this one are their own. They're just pads that are put into the Super Nintendo controller. And then the D-pad, it has its own pad, and here it is. So make sure you put this pad over this little tab. And that's pretty much it for the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo controllers. And I'm going to be doing more like the Nintendo 64, which I did paint one, the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance, SP, hopefully the NES, if I can figure out how to take that apart, the Wii controller, the nunchuck, stuff like that. So in the next episode, I am going to do either the 64 controller or the NES mouse, which as far as I know is only used for Mario Paint. So thank you for watching. I hope this helped. If not, then put some down in the comments and I'll try to make it better. But thank you for watching, and I am the Walrus.